Let's start off with our number 25 team in our NBA power rankings. Who did you put there?
We put the Charlotte Hornets. They improved from last year, right? They did get better through the offseason. Now, was that financially smart how they did it? No, but they did improve. What are your thoughts on LaMelo Ball? How do you think their draft went?
I thought their draft went good. I'm pretty satisfied if I'm a Charlotte Hornets fan and I saw that draft. Getting LaMelo is probably one of the picks that you want to get if you're Charlotte. It's one of those hit or miss type of guys where if LaMelo is your guy, I think he is your franchise guy. But I don't know how many other players in that draft really have that capability. I'm excited to see Gordon Hayward there. I kind of have a feeling he might do something this year, but we'll kind of see how he does in Charlotte. I mean, at the end of the day, it is Charlotte.
Yeah, I have that same feeling. I feel like he finally has a chance to really just do whatever he wants, kind of. We'll see how it works out. I thought their draft was pretty good. I like you said with LaMelo Ball, it's a franchise-changing type player if it all pans out for him, and I think it will. They did decent. Second round of the draft, Vernon Carey Jr. That was a guy who was a top 10 prospect coming out of high school. So, I don't know. We'll see how it all works out for Charlotte. I don't know. They didn't really lose much. They had to cut Nicholas Batum, but, I mean, is that really
I'm
losing
confused
that
what
much?
they're going to do with all those point guards. I mean, you have LaMelo now, Devontae Graham, and Terry Rozier. Scary Terry, I mean, that's your guy right there, Caleb.
I love Terry Rozier.
I don't know what Charlotte's going to do because that's 3 point guards that are all going to want minutes. Devontae Graham just won Most Improved Player. And Terry Rozier is a guy that – how much did he get paid by Charlotte? Michael Jordan gave him what?
He gave him a pretty bad contract. It was – because I remember whenever he signed it, everyone was like, what? Like, why'd he do that? I don't know.
Really like that roster, though. Like,
it's a fun roster. I'm actually going to watch a couple Hornets game this year.
we talked about that earlier. I told Caleb, about a week ago, I was like, I'm actually excited to watch Charlotte Hornets games for probably the first time in my entire life since they were the Bobcats. And when they were the Bobcats, I wasn't excited to watch them either.
Dude, their commentator is one of the funnest in the league. Like, I'd put him top 3 at his job. So he helps make games fun to watch. And with Miles Bridges there, I don't know. Malik Monk looked good last year before the whole, like, off-court issue came out. But I don't know. They could be a fun little team. I wouldn't be shocked to see them push for a playoff spot. I doubt they get it next year. But they could be a really fun team to watch.
What do you think of P.J. Washington? I'm really big on him. I think he has all the talent in the world. I don't get to watch too many Charlotte games again, so I don't know too much about how much more he has to go forward as far as potential-wise. But from what I see right now, him and especially Miles Bridges, those two guys, really, really intriguing to me. I'm excited to see what they do. Miles Bridges has an expiring contract coming up this year. They got to decide whether they're going to extend him, and that's what would you do if you're in Charlotte's position? Because he's going to want probably max money.
Man, it depends on how P.J. Washington does this year. Because if he looks good, like, you already have so much money committed to that point guard spot. I mean, and, like, time considering, like, LaMelo and everything. So you're kind of committed there. I wouldn't really jump the gun and pay Miles Bridges if I didn't have to. Like, it's really dependent on how P.J. Washington plays. Cody Zeller, that's their starting center.
Yeah, they're weak in this. They have Bismack Biyombo and Cody Zeller. They really got to fix that position, I think.
Like, Cody Zeller's like a top 50 big in the league. Like,
there's no way. We can go through that list. I don't think he makes top. And that's, to me, look at every roster right now. Okay, go through every roster real quick. As a center, I can't think of any team that has a weaker position at the center spot than the Hornets do right now. You could argue the Kings with Hassan and Rashawn Holmes, but
because both those guys start on Charlotte.
Exactly. So I'm saying that's probably the best argument you can make. I mean, even with Boston, but I would still rather take Tice over Cody Zeller and Bismack. Bismack is how old now? I feel like he's been in the league for, 15 years?
It does feel like he's been in the league for forever.
Cody Zeller, also same thing. I feel like he's been in the league for a while.
it does feel like he's been in the league for a really long time too. Their center position is really weak, and I don't know if it's really gonna help. I think that's gonna be their downfall this year is their center position, I believe. But like I want to add this real quick. LaMelo will probably struggle his first year. Center is probably going to be their downfall, but what could also kind of derail their thing is LaMelo Ball. Traditionally, guards don't really get out to like a super hot start in their career. It usually takes them a month or two to get into the swing of things, whereas bigs usually seem to have this ability to just come in and make an impact almost right away. So I could see LaMelo struggling a little bit in year one, specifically like the first half of the year, but I don't know. I think they could be a really fun team to watch. Like I said, I'm probably going to watch 5 or 6 games of them this year. And, that's a lot considering what most people watch of Charlotte Hornets basketball.
Hey, I'm pretty sure that's more than Charlotte Hornets fans can tolerate watching. Speaking of LaMelo, though, you brought up a good point. He's definitely going to have a lot of struggles early on in his career. I mean, a lot of young players going into a new system, especially with those weaker teams that haven't made the playoffs in a while, that haven't had that star guy, they have trouble. And one person who's really excited for him is the guy who drafted him, Mitch Kupchak. Let's go to him.
I do know he loves the game. We had him in Charlotte the day after the draft, okay? And we had a dinner where everybody was distanced with the masks and, at a local restaurant in a big room. And it was about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and he leaned over and he said to me, "Is there a place I can go shoot after dinner?" And I'm looking at my watch. I'm saying, I go to bed in 30 minutes, and he wanted to go shoot. So we did find a place for him to shoot at our facility, and he stayed there till 12:30 at night. I do know he loves the game, and he plays for the right reasons.
So that's Hornets GM, Sleepy Mitch, a.k.a. Mitch Kupchak. He talked about how he had to go to bed in 30 minutes because it was past his bedtime. A little bit old, but he was talking about LaMelo Ball, and he's really excited for him. Caleb, let's go to our buy or sell segment. Following that interview, I'm asking you, buy or sell, LaMelo Ball will win the Rookie of the Year.
Sell, for the same reason I just mentioned, that guards really get out to like a slow start.
Wow, he changed up, guys. He changed up.
Whatever. There's a certain center on Golden State that I think could win it. He's just going to be around so much talent, and he has a chance to make a serious impact right away. And with that media frenzy of like, oh, Steph Curry came back, they got huge contributions from their center, I think James Wiseman could win it. But it'll be like one of those Michael Carter-Williams Rookie of the Year things where like he kind of peaks that year. I don't think LaMelo will win it. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of hard for point guards to really just come in and make an impact right away.
I'm going to agree with you on the fact that he will not win it. I'm going sell. I don't think LaMelo has a chance in Charlotte to really prove himself with help. They got Gordon Hayward. That's great. And we talked about some of their young guys. PJ Washington, obviously Miles Bridges, Gary Terry, and not much help with the bigs, but I just don't see him being in a position in Charlotte to really shine. Like, yeah, if you really think about it, if there's one rookie in this draft class that's going to get the most touches and that's going to have the straight keys to do whatever he wants and mess up as much as he wants, it'll be LaMelo. Probably see LaMelo get to 20 points a game. Maybe I think you could see him at least get to 16, 17 a game with 7 assists. I think you'll see that from LaMelo because of the fact that he's on Charlotte and he'll get a lot of those minutes. I agree with you. I mean, I don't see him winning it. I don't think it's going to go to James Wiseman. Man, this is tough.
It's a very tough class to pick a Rookie of the Year for. There isn't really like a clear-cut favorite. I don't even
Honestly, know. I agree with you. I'm going to go James Wiseman because you're right. He's surrounded with Steph. I think Draymond's going to help really get him to realizing, okay, this is the NBA. You got to be ready to face the best bigs on back-to-back nights. You're not going to be able to play Cody Zeller and, these guys every night. You're going to have to play somebody big. Good. So, I don't know. We'll see. I think James Wiseman has that, but no, I don't think LaMelo's going to win it.
Sweet.
We have Miles Bridges, and he talks about what he wants to focus on this year.
I just put a focus on my IQ, my ball handling, my decision-making, everything. But I really want to focus on my defense. I really want to be a top defensive player in this league. And I feel like if I'm on top of my game defensively, then it'll make the team better. So I really want to focus on defense. I feel like I just got to just stay locked in defensively. I feel like I zone out a little bit, especially off the ball. So I want to get better at that. And I just want to get better at concepts like me getting screened and what do I do on switches, communicating, all that type of stuff. I want to be more of a leader on the defensive end.
So there's Miles Bridges talking about how he wants to focus on defense especially, but he really wants to fix everything this year. I want to ask you, Caleb, buy or sell, do the Charlotte Hornets keep Miles Bridges past this season?
Yes, I'm going to say buy because I feel like he has the potential to really improve defensively and all around in his game, and he could be a very big piece for them moving forward. It just kind of depends on how big of a leap he takes this year. Because if he takes like a decent sized leap and scores like, let's just say 15 points per game, I don't know, 8 rebounds, like 3 assists or something, he's going to get really, really hyped up. And that contract extension is going to really heat up fast. But if he takes like a minimal leap, I think they could keep him cheap and long term. Sort of like what happened with Jaylen Brown. Now, obviously, he's not on the same level as Jaylen Brown, but you know what I mean? Like that, he didn't take that huge leap and he had to agree to an extension that really he could have got more if he waited. But I could definitely see that happening with Miles Bridges. I'm going to buy that he will be on the roster past next year.
I see your point. I think Miles Bridges has that ability to have that jump, like you said. I am excited to see what he does this year, but I'm going to go with sell. And the reason for that is I think even if he has a good year this year, right, Michael Jordan, to me, is not the type of owner that's going to want to really lay out the checkbook. And, I mean, we saw it with Gordon Hayward. I'm sure you were going to bring that up. But that's probably the first 2 signings I've seen is Scary Terry and Gordon Hayward.
But I don't understand. Like, everybody made fun of him after he signed Terry Rozier. They're like, you just gave a former Celtic this much? And he's like, yep. And then, like, this offseason, he's like, I'm going to do it again. And he paid Hayward that much. Like, I don't understand why he's obsessed with, like, former Celtics players, but it's fine with me because it makes me fun watching Charlotte, but I don't know.
Well, to me, it's like, look at the free agents you can get when you're in Charlotte. How many people have even went to Charlotte in the past?
But that's my thing. Like, dude, Michael Jordan is the owner. Like, you cannot pull any strings and be like, hey, I'm Michael Jordan. Can you please come play here? Like,
I get it, but it is Charlotte.
I know it's Charlotte, but it's not like it's a hideous city like Boston or something. Like, it's a nice city. Like, Charlotte's a nice city. It's decent weather. Like, I don't understand why he cannot get one no, I'm not saying like a Kevin Durant or something for agency. I'm saying like a mid-tier, like, good guy. Hayward's probably the best free agent he's ever gotten.
Hayward is probably a B-level free agent in your eyes, and probably after this injury now, he's what, maybe a C-level free agent?
Yeah, like it's like that fringe, like B-, C+ level guy.
Going back to Miles Bridges, I just don't see him wanting to pay a young guy like that and really opening up his checkbook for a guy who has improved himself at that level. Miles Bridges is going to want a lot of money, and to me, if he gets what he wants, it won't be from Charlotte. And if he doesn't have a good year, I think Michael Jordan's just like, well, you know what? I gave a lot of money to these 2 other guys. I got to have a little bit of cap flexibility. I can't pay you. So to me, I'm going to sell. I think there's no chance they keep him either way.
I'll agree with that. I see where you're coming from.
Last one of our buy or sell. Let's go to Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, it's so great to be here. I'm really excited being able to be in the gym, be with the guys, work with the staff, be in the city. I'm ready to get to work. I mean, I'm going to play hard every night. That's one thing I've always done. And I'm going to try to do whatever I can to help our team win, whether that's playmaking for others, scoring, playing defense, rebounding, whatever they need me to do, that's what I always like to do. Well, it's been difficult just with COVID, all the restrictions. I haven't gotten a chance to really see everybody yet, but gotten a chance to be around some of the guys, and it seems like a great group, young group, and I'm definitely the old veteran now, but it's exciting.
That's Gordon Hayward, new Charlotte Hornet. Caleb, buy or sell, Gordon Hayward will have a comeback season this year.
I'm going to buy. And I know it sounds biased, but Hayward was actually half decent for us last year in like the 35 games he was able to play for us. will he be able to get a full season in? I don't know, but I do think a change of scenery is really going to help him. And he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot more. Because last year, he was like our third option. In Charlotte, I think out the gates, he could be their number one option. Because I don't know if they're going to really want LaMelo to get right out and just start heaving. But I wouldn't be shocked if he did. Either way, Hayward's going to get more touches. And I do think he can have a bounce-back season, maybe 20 points per game. That would be the most he averaged since Utah. So we'll see. I do think he will have a comeback season. I'm going to buy that.
I see your point. I'm going to buy too. And the reason why I'm going to buy is I think Gordon Hayward has a chance of really having a good year. There's no pressure on him anymore. In Boston, he had a lot of pressure to just really be that guy, especially given the fact that he got hurt in his first game of what he hoped to be the place he wanted to be the rest of his career. But he wasn't able to do that because of that scary injury. Ended up going down. He struggled really with Boston because of the fact that they were a playoff team and you guys were trying to win. You guys were at the point where you're trying to win a championship. He was at the point to me where he was trying to rehab, and I think now this is the perfect place to truly rehab. If he's not feeling well, he doesn't have to come to a game. Like, this dude skipped the birth of his child because he knew Boston Celtics Twitter was going to violate him. He knew.
They messaged his wife on Instagram and said, "Can you have a medically induced labor?" Like, stop it. He can't. His wife cannot have that. Like, let's be realistic. I felt so bad for that poor guy. Dude, like imagine coming home from practice and your wife says, "Well, got a message. He said, can you get a medically induced labor so Gordon doesn't miss the bubble?" Like, are you serious? You really asked that question? I don't blame Hayward for leaving, dude. Like, and he got the bag in Charlotte. Screw it. Go have fun.
Like you said, he got harassed pretty much there with Boston Twitter in general. I mean, of course, his wife and stuff, we know how Boston Twitter is, but especially with how he had to come back, and I feel like a lot of Celtics fans were like, "Hey, you're getting paid, what, $40 million? We need you to actually show up and get paid for what you're doing."
Yeah, see, I feel like a lot of Celtics fans really don't understand, like, the mental toll that an injury like that takes on you. Like, that takes a lot of guts to come back from, like, that sort of injury. And, you know, you got to give them some credit, but
half of these fans can't even – sorry to interrupt you, but half of these people that watch, if they went down with, like, let's say a sprained ankle, right? If they play basketball, 90% of these people are probably not even good at basketball, but a lot of these fans that criticize these athletes, go take a layup and fall and get hurt. Imagine going up for a dunk or a layup and then what? Completely breaking your ankle. Imagine wanting to go back and play basketball again and be like, "Yeah, I want to take a layup again. Like, I'm going to go drive it inside against Dwight Howard that's 7 foot tall and he's freaking jacked."
Built like The Rock. Listen, okay, I'm sure, like, you play basketball, right? At a high level. You played for Duke University. So when you roll an ankle –
North Carolina, actually.
Sorry. When you roll an ankle, do you immediately get up and say, "I'm going to do it again. Like, I'm going to go back inside"? No, you limp off and you're like in your head, you're like, "Man, like, that hurt," right?
Nah, I'm built different.
Shut up. Hayward breaks his ankle, pretty much snaps the thing like a Lego block, and then he's out for a while, and people are like, "He needs to get back. He's not committed enough." Like, dude, please.
All right, Charlotte's Twitter, we hope you guys enjoy him because clearly Celtics Twitter did not deserve him. He was there's too much toxicity going on over there. Hopefully we see something good from Charlotte this year. I'm going to be watching probably 4 games to 5. That's as much as I can watch. I can't watch a Charlotte game, especially given the fact that it's an empty arena. I mean, honestly, it's going to feel normal. Like, when I used to watch Charlotte versus the Kings and the Kings would be in Charlotte, it would be the sleepiest game I would watch. Like, I would be so ridiculously bored. At least now it's like, well, there's no fans, so I'm not going to notice.
Dude, if LaMelo Ball pans out, he could be like top 5 flashiest players in the league and fun players to watch. Like, it'll be massive for Charlotte. If he pans out, that's gonna change like the whole entire landscape.
So what players are flashy? Just say him. Just say his name.
Say Steph, Giannis, Harden. We like James Harden. Anthony Davis.
Flashy at being a ball hog.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Anthony Davis is flashy at falling on the floor, yeah. I mean, if that's flashy.
Okay, well, and then who else would be the next guy? I'm gonna say Westbrook or Bill. They're fun to watch in terms of fun.
Luka!
No, I'm not. Luka's not flashy. He's just an overweight white guy running around the court. He's not flashy.
All right, we got to move on.